Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RK Football Podcast, brought to you by FIFA. Did you know the Club World Cup is currently happening in America? Of course you did. It's the best competition in the world. It's the most prestigious competition in the world. That's what my script from FIFA says. Everybody wants to watch it. I mean, the tickets, they're so hard to get. It is the best thing in the world. Giants of world football like Auckland and a number of MLS teams for some reason. And yeah, no, he's got my family. It's Infantino. He's got my family. We've got no choice. Welcome back, though. The Club World Cup is there's only been two days of it, and we've seen good and bad. I'd say Matt Thurney's with us, Stuart Evans with us.
Hello,
Look,
everyone.
Bayern put 10 goals past a New Zealand, amateur Sunday League team. That's not the best of the Club World Cup, but I would say is the PSG Atletico match was a decent match, was better and more of what
Yeah,
you'd expect. So I think once you get the good teams together, it should be okay, kind of.
you'd hope so. You'd hope so. I think that the most shocking bit I read about was that some of Oakland's players in the New Zealand side, they had to get time off for the tournament. Like, that's the level we're talking of this
Yeah.
side. And it was sort of a thing of like, is this seriously, like, this team's going up against Bayern Munich? Like, and it did feel a bit like, I'm not sure this is actually good. And then obviously they got absolutely smashed 10-0. It's there's definitely gonna be a golfing class at times, definitely, like throughout this tournament, I think.
I mean, look, the biggest problem with the tournament is the fact that you haven't qualified for the tournament. You've been invited to the tournament in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
it's based on how you've done in your continental competition, let's say. But at the same time, the fact that, for example, Red Bull Salzburg are in the competition and someone like Barcelona or Liverpool are not is
Yes.
it makes the whole tournament a joke.
It's interesting because in the last 5 years, Liverpool have been in the Champions League final once. Is it? Is it once or twice? I can't remember.
Once,
But
I'd say.
Yeah, once.
Yeah, once, yeah.
They've been in the final. They've won the Premier League twice. And like you say, obviously with Red Bull Salzburg, yes, okay, it's a lower tier out of all of them, but you still think Liverpool would surely have got in there.
I am so glad we're not in it. I've got to be honest. I mean, it's one of those tournaments. It's just like no one's kind of got like if you're sitting, there's no outrage going. Oh my god, how are we not in it? Like we're like going. Whew, we don't have to worry about it because that's a month that we because obviously they would like another these poor players. I mean, whatever you think about it, but it's like the idea of having a whole season, then we've got another month of a tournament that no one really wants. Like, did the fans really want this kind of tournament? Like with that time, really? I mean, yeah, I'm not devastated that we're not in it. Got to be honest. I think it might give us. It sounds silly, but it might give us the advantage because we do have we actually do have time off. Well,
Yeah,
teams like Man City and Chelsea don't have it because they have to do this tournament.
Yeah, but I mean, in a way, it's only like the players having another international tournament in some ways. But what I would say is, I actually think the idea of a Club World Cup in a summer every 3 years or wherever it's meant to be is a good idea on paper. But it's the way they have put it down, the way they've created this tournament that's the problem. The teams that are in it are laughable in a lot of ways. The fact
in
that
the nicest way, yeah.
the fact that there are so many teams in it as well. I mean, I think to the is it the Confederations Cup, I want to say, which had World Cup winner, Euros winner,
Yes.
Copa America winner,
Yeah.
those sort of things.
African Cup of
To
Nations,
me,
yeah.
that should have been the format of this. You have the Champions League winner, you have the South American. I don't know the what's it called? Libertadores. That one. And then you do the same for the
I think that
Asian
was the
continent.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that's what the thing was, wasn't it? Like that.
Well, no,
You know,
because this has got. So, for example, from Asia, you've got the winners of the 2021, 2022, and 2024 Champions Leagues for the Asian Champions League. So, why are we going back that far? Does that make sense?
well, yeah, I get. I mean, obviously, whatever you think, obviously, opinion on Chelsea, but like example, like obviously, Chelsea being in it, obviously. I guess they would probably think, would they want to be in it? But like, yeah, they would, but not because of like they won the Champions League or anything recently. It's because they won it 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like they're in it, like in it. It'd be different if it was like they won it this season or last season. You'd be like, okay, but like 3 years ago, like, is it just? It feels like they can't get enough people to clubs to get it, so they're just kind of cherry pick like, okay, 3 winners from all the big tournaments we have, or maybe cherry pick someone. Oh, we like you. Well, we got to have Messi in it, so we've got to have that team. We've got to have. We're trying to force. We've got to have Cristiano Ronaldo, so we're trying to kind of bait people to buy him just for like a month, and then he can go. Like, that kind of stuff. It does feel like a bit all over the place.
It would have been interesting to see it. I think everyone knows the answer to this, but it would have been interesting to see if Inter Miami would have been in the tournament if they didn't have Messi.
Well, the answer to that question
it's hard to say. They did win the MLS Supporters Shield, which is the big tournament in America, the way it works out. So they were there by winning, but I mean, the fact that it's an invite tour. You look at Europe. I've got it in front of me, right? So they're saying that Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Man City get in by being winners in the last 4 years, right? And then Bayern Munich are the best ranked eligible team, and this is the list as it goes down: Bayern Munich, PSG, Dortmund are third best ranked, apparently. Inter Milan, Porto are fifth, Atletico Madrid are sixth, Benfica are seventh, then Juventus, and then Salzburg are ninth. Salzburg are the ninth ranked. Sorry, where did Barcelona come in this then?
I mean, one last question: why Juve's in there as well? Like, not offense, like European competitions, what have they done recently that kind of deserves that, other than just the Juventus? If they go on by merit.
What this is, if you look at the teams that are in it, these are the teams that were going to do a Super League. Let's be fair.
Yes,
if you look at it, it's. I mean, Barcelona were one of those teams. Admittedly, Barcelona probably. I'm surprised not to say. And Liverpool were iffy, but Real Madrid for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure Chelsea would have been.
Yeah, we were.
Easily.
Peter Cech was the advocate for saying no to it in the end. Thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah. No.
So look, it's a money grabber, and the fact that it's in America isn't a surprise. They've been trying to get big games into America for a long time. This idea of a 39th game in the Premier League. This is very unprofessional of me to have my phone on during this. That's awful from me. That red card.
I think that what you say though, like those teams that you've said there, one of the big ones for me was Benfica. Like, I was looking at some of the groups earlier just to see who else was in this tournament, and when I saw Benfica, I was like, "Why are you here? Like, why are you in this tournament?" I mean, for me, doesn't make any sense. That doesn't, like, especially over the tournament. Go on.
I don't think they've won the domestic league in the last 2-3 years anyway. So and obviously, I don't think they've progressed well in Europe. So that's a strange one. Other than just, it feels like a situation. If you were like a kid and you sat there and said, "Oh, who do you want in my tournament on like FIFA?" and you go, "Okay, I'll pick them, him, them, him, him." Yeah, and it's
do you remember you used to be able to do that on was it Pro Evolution? You could create your own tournament, and you literally could just put this is literally that.
Yeah,
it feels like it. I mean, the fact we've got 2 teams from 2 teams from Italy, 2 teams from Germany, 2 teams from England, 2 teams from Portugal, and then PSG, the only French team.
Is there no Dutch?
No Dutch teams.
Yeah,
aren't they a top 5 league?
In theory, But yeah, no Dutch teams, no like Turkish teams. Like you're not seeing a Galatasaray or a Fenerbahce in there or anything like that. Which I'm not saying they should be, but I'm saying if Salzburg are in there, let's consider everyone, right?
Yes, I agree.
So, but I mean, there should be some. There should be some good
Bayer
games.
Leverkusen. You could
Yeah,
even say
where are
Bayer
Leverkusen?
Leverkusen last year. Yeah, like
Yeah,
why
that's
didn't
fair,
they get in over Benfica? Like, so no, it just stinks of like greediness. At the end of the day, I'm not the biggest fan. Yes, Chelsea are in it, and I will watch some of the games. Like I'll probably watch the one tonight, but I don't. For me, it's purely done for the fans. Player welfare has just been thrown out the window in my eyes. There,
And
it's like
yeah, but then you throw in the fact that some players are not playing for their international teams during this period because they're playing in the Club World Cup instead. Liam Delap, for example, who's joined Chelsea, would have been starting for the England under-21s this summer. He started for them for a year and a half, and then he's turned tournament time and he's gone, sorry guys, no, I'm not coming. And it's yeah, a lot of issues, but there should be some good games. And I mean, like even the idea of some of these, I'm super interested in the South American teams going up against the European teams and seeing what happens there.
We've got Flamengo in our group. We do.
Oh,
so that should be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to that one, to be honest.
So it's always difficult tied, to be fair. Like again, because I remember Liverpool when it went, it was the old tournament. It's like like for bingo, like they're tough. Like we just beat them. It's tough. They're more up for it. So I'll be worried about that, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested by that. I'd be interested to see how, because obviously that's what a Club World Cup should be. Different continents based. It's not the same like Europe, but like someone from South America playing against someone in Europe. It's more interesting.
It should be, but at the same time, then you've got, because of that rule, you've got teams like Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa who are, going to struggle, let's say, against
do you
the
not
top
know
teams.
about them? I've got their shirt on the wall over here. I would turn it, but my camera is very rigid.
Guess we're not football connoisseurs then. We don't know all corners of football.
But do you think that the tournament could be done in a better way? Maybe, because the thing is, we're now getting into an era of football where this is going to happen, but it's got to be done in a better fashion. Maybe, like how would you do it? Obviously, I was saying to you earlier, guys, about maybe if the team that won the Champions League all the way to the teams that finished the quarterfinals of the Champions League, all then went into a tournament which happened the following season, but they didn't participate in the Champions League. So it was in place of that. Essentially.
No, I get that, but that would be messy and cause major issue. Why would teams not want to be in the Champions League to then play in the Club World Cup? That's not going to happen. What I would say is it needs less teams. There are too many teams in this. It needed, arguably, at max 2 from each continent. 2 Asian teams, 2 South African teams, 2 African teams. Sorry, 2 African teams, 2 South American teams. Two European teams. So you pick the Champions League winners, the Europa League winners, and in they go to represent the continent. And you have less.
We won the Conference League. What about the Conference League?
The Conference League doesn't count for anybody. No,
everyone knows the Conference League is bigger than the Europa League. Ask every Chelsea fan; they will agree with that.
What was it? You weren't saying that when West Ham won it, were you?
No, I was not. Even saying it, I can feel the lies running through me.
I mean, don't most continents have 2 European? Was it two like kind of continent competitions like that? Like,
no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they all do, but yes, if they do, then that should be the 2 winners. And you know what I mean? You have a so that'd be an 8-man tournament, an 8-team tournament. And
would you do it every year?
Yeah, like an 8-team tournament, you absolutely could.
Yeah.
Knockout style. You do a draw. You play it all in America if they want to play it in America. I'm not that fussed about them playing it in America. And you do, to me that sounds really good. There's stakes at play. You do a big cash prize. You say they're the world champions. Do you know what I mean? and you make it a big deal. This just feels like the Emirates Cup times 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it's good.
yeah, no,
Oh, yeah, it really
No.
is. Like, I mean, I think with that idea with the tournament, like the original tournament was like kind of was like that. But what was weird about it is like the European team always turns up like basically right at the end. Everybody else
Yeah.
has to play 3 or 4 games where like if you win the Champions League, you turn up like the final 2 games and you win it, and most of the time you win it. So if they just got but what was wrong with the original setup? Just take that or just change it a little bit and then just make sure everyone's there at the start and then see what happens.
For me, it thinks of when the Nations League come round. For me, this is the equivalent of that. It wasn't needed. Like, just I would have said.
I get that, but I actually don't mind the Nations League so much because this idea of promotion and relegation, I think it gives stakes and it gives something to play for. I'm not really sure why the clubs care about winning this Club World Cup. That's my issue. I mean, I say there should be less teams. I know why there's not, because they want to make this as lucrative as possible. They want to make it amazing and all this sort of stuff. And if you only had 2 European teams in it, people are going to watch those games and not watch the rest.
Yeah.
Here's one question for you though, and this is what I'm interested by. I haven't looked at this, but I want to know if Chelsea, for example, was to go and win it, and we did nothing, like we done absolutely nothing for the next 4 years. So we don't make the Champions League. We win no tournaments for the next 4 years. Are we then in it in 4 years' time? We're the holders.
Yes, apparently you are looking at it, and that is why Man City enter the tournament as defending champion.
Okay.
So this okay. So example, if they obviously if they done a situation where they had done the tournament and obviously didn't win it or something because they didn't win it, they would still be in this tournament anyway because of Champions League.
Being the last Club World Cup winners. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, know. I mean,
relegated to the League 2 in that time.
Let's not get into the charges.
Fleetwood Town on the Saturday.
You could be playing Crawley at the Portfield Stadium if they get relegated to League 2.
You know it.
It could happen.
Well, in the meantime, between last episode and this one, there was a confirmation, and I've got to probably eat my words a little bit because I said last week on the podcast, why would Thomas Frank go to Spurs? It makes no sense. But he did. So he's obviously seen some logic in it, seen something that attracts him, and he's taken the chance. What do we think? For Spurs, it's a great appointment in theory, right?
It's going to be one of those, I think, that there's a lot of hype around Thomas Frank, and he is a very good manager. He's done a very good job at Brentford, but the setup that he had at Brentford was these are your players. Now they're young players, which means their value's only going to go up. You need to get the best out of these players, and then find a system that works with them, and then sell them on. Whereas at Spurs, it's going to be totally different. It's not a club like that. So, for me personally, I think that it's going to be a very hard first season under Thomas Frank. Not to the point of seeing him getting sacked, but they got to be patient with him.
Yeah, but that's not.
I think
that's not. No,
but how many times have we said this? Do you know what I mean? It's just Spurs. They've got to be patient with him. They've got to buy into the project. It's not going to happen. If Thomas Frank doesn't get them into the top 6, he will be sacked.
And that's it's just a joke. Like, how can you? It's a terrible business, but
it's this mentality with Tottenham. It's weird. It's like obviously yes, they won the Europa League, and they're going to go on that for years and years and years. But yeah, no, it's. I think Thomas Frank is like. At first, I was thinking, yeah, why would you go there? Why would you go to Tottenham? But then when I think about it, it makes sense as you were talking about, like kind of doing things like have the players you have, and kind of just like getting the best out of them. And obviously, we know Levy's very penny pinching. He's not exactly going to he's not going to be cooking out a lot of big money. So it wouldn't surprise me he went for Thomas Frank because he thought, well, we can get a guy in that's very good at using what he's got and kind of getting the best out of him. And you don't have to spend loads of money. So I get it in that sense, but I mean, you look at Brentford though. Like, what more could he have done? Because I think you got him highest as you could. I mean, unless they break into the top half, then I think he took them as far as they could.
I really feel for Brentford fans because they've started to enjoy a really lovely weekend of football, week in, week out, and they've enjoyed their lives as football fans. And I'm sorry to break the news to you, Brentford fans, but it's downhill from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be intrigued as to who they go for. That's for sure. But
is the assistant? He's going to get it. I've heard that.
It's Andrews. What's his name? Oh,
okay.
I've heard,
yeah. There's. I think it's Andrews. I'm pretty sure of it. Like you say, Stu. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's managed in the same league, obviously, Crawley Town. So he's like, that's an experience he's really had. So it'd be interesting. But he knows the club in and out, so that would make sense.
Keith Andrews. Yeah, Keith Andrews, set piece coach, his main candidate.
Yeah, Keith Andrews. He used to play in centre midfield for Blackburn. Yeah,
that's it. Blackburn.
Yeah, set piece coach. Jesus Christ, Brentford. He's a he's been working at the club as a set piece coach since 2024. So he's only been there a year. So it's not even like he's worked with Thomas Frank for years and years, and you're handing over. Do you know what I mean?
There's one thing that's guaranteed though. That means obviously if he is the coach, there's going to be they're going to be topping the set piece goals charts, right? Because obviously if you've got the set piece goals,
you can't take that record away from Arsenal. You can't take that away from Arsenal.
Mate, it makes me think reading this that Justin Cochrane, who was the assistant coach to Thomas Frank, probably was the guy they wanted to give the job to because they like to promote from within, but he went to Spurs with Thomas Frank. So, yeah, that's left them with Keith Andrews, former Wolves, MK Dons and Blackburn Rovers midfielder, and he's been a Sky Sports EFL pundit. Well, at least he knows the league, Brentford fans, you know. the league you might end up in. All jokes aside, I actually think Thomas Frank at Spurs has got more chance of being a success than Keith Andrews at Brentford. I genuinely think it's a really baffling decision. Well, you've got better coaches out there available.
Who would you bring in? Who would you bring in then?
I mean, just take it. You could just take a right. Let's take a look at Premier League managers that were sacked in the last 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Just thought top of my head, maybe Gary O'Neill.
Gary O'Neill would be a very, very good appointment for Brentford. So yeah, that's a great shout. Someone like Steve Cooper. Although he's
I mean, I think he's more likely to stay in the Championship. Yeah. I think. Like I've heard rumours that like big kind of teams out there want him in there. So, I mean, yeah, I get. I don't know. I mean, it's
just a risk to give Keith Andrews his first managerial job in the Premier League.
Yeah.
When you put it like that, he's never been anything but a set piece coach for a year. I'm just looking through his thing. Hang on. Coaching career. Sorry, no, he was assistant manager for MK Dons for a couple of years. Worked as assistant to the under-21s and senior Republic of Ireland teams. Was on Chris Wilder's backroom staff for 6 months and then left to join Brentford as set-piece coach.
So it's like it's his first managerial job. Like it's not like he's been in like the EDF Football League and then it's gone up. It's like and you got a mid-table Premier League side. Yeah, after when you put it like that, it's
not just a mid-table Premier League side though, but a mid-table Premier League side that's going to go through its biggest change in 10 years ish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is a complete overhaul now. The best players are going to leave. The manager's left. This is a complete overhaul, and you're asking Keith Andrews to come in and be the guy that's going to take Brentford from a mid-table team to a chase in Europe.
Yeah, it's going to be. I agree with what you said earlier. It's going to be a few years of struggle. Fingers crossed they don't go down. There's going to be a few years of struggle for them for sure. I don't see them finishing mid-table.
I think they'll be in a relegation fight. To be honest, the way it's heading. Further than that, you've got to think. Sorry, we're just in the middle of a transfer window, right? Why would anybody join Brentford right now?
I think I still think they've got something to offer.
Still
I
No,
still
but
think
in the sense of, right, so say the
Go on.
agent saying to you, look, Brentford are interested. However, Thomas Frank's now left and Buemo's going. A couple of others, it looks like they'll be heading out, and they're bringing in Keith Andrews as head coach.
Mm.
Does that sell you? Or do you go, you know what? I'll go to Brighton, West Ham, Palace.
I understand your thought process there, but for me, the selling point is we're in the Premier League. We're in the Premier League. There are always going to be players who want to come to play for them, but Brentford have never been one of these teams that have signed big names, so they don't need to worry about that sort of thing. So, and their scouting has always been pretty good as well. Fingers crossed. Is it the same scout is still at Brentford when he does with Thomas Frank going to Spurs? If not, then yeah, they probably will struggle. But I do think there is that attraction there. Because the biggest example I could probably give is Ivan Toney left. So, like they scored more goals without him.
Yeah, but they had
So,
a system in place ready to replace him. That's what I'd say. Whether they're prepared for Thomas Frank leaving now, that's the question. And maybe they are. Maybe this was the plan. Maybe this is why Andrews came in.
yeah.
I'd love to be wrong, but I fear for Brentford this season. I do fear for them. Or this we go with this season. Is it? We say this season now.
I mean, I think
No. Club World Cup's still on.
No,
it's a big tournament. Remember that.
Well, is it when the fixtures come out? Is that technically
is that when we take over? Is it,
yeah,
that
that's
like going
when
Happy New Year, right? Got
yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's it's when you get this pointless signing to Real Madrid or something like that. That's when the season started.
Okay, well, on that note, let's talk about Liverpool.
I'm
To be
jumping on that
fair,
one.
no, because he mentioned Real Madrid making it. I don't think it's a pointless sign. I think they've signed the best young Spanish right back, apparently, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's apparently got an incredible Spanish language teacher.
In 3 months, it's impressive. I mean,
do you know what? I mean, mightily.
I'm going to say something that's going to really annoy Stuart, but we haven't spoke about this, Stu, so it's worth saying.
Oh, okay.
I think while Trent Alexander-Arnold could have dealt with it better to help Liverpool get a transfer fee, agreed, he's doing the right thing by leaving, in my opinion. Because, and the reason I say this is because if Liverpool valued him enough, he wouldn't have been in the last year of his contract. Right? That is bad business from Liverpool to let the 3 players go into the last year of the contract. That is bad business, right? That they should never enter the last year of the contract because you give the player too much power then.
But then was to stop that player wanting to do that? He might have been like 2 years left.
Potentially. And if that was the case, then yes, fair enough. But the fact that Salah and Van Dijk are also in the same situation says bad planning. That's what I'm saying. If it was just one, then yeah, fair enough. But here's the other thing. We don't know what Liverpool have offered him, right? But like Trent at Liverpool had a ceiling, if we're really honest, right? He had a ceiling because as great as Liverpool have been this season, the Premier League is so competitive that Liverpool will never be able to be the dominant force of 8-9 years in a row, consistently winning Champions Leagues or Premier Leagues. That's just not doable in today's day and age. Real Madrid, however, is somewhere he can go and win and be the superstar right back that he clearly wants to be. It's reminiscent of Gerrard to Chelsea 2005, right? And he didn't go, and he should have gone. No. Hear me out.
It's like last week, isn't it? It's like,
as a Liverpool fan, you will want him to stay. I totally get that. But for his career, he should have gone because he would have won the Premier League. Arguably, he'd have won the Champions League. Right? He'd have gone on to do a lot more than he did at Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool won the Champions League with him. I know that. They won the FA Cup. They won the UEFA Cup. I get all of that. And he did a lot at Liverpool. but he would have gone from one of the best midfielders in the world to arguably the best midfielder in the world for a few years, because he'd have had the Premier League titles to back him up. And that's why I think Trent leaving's the right call. His time at Liverpool had naturally come to an end, if I'm honest. He was in a position where it was either they give him the captain's armband and make him the face of the club, or he goes.
For me personally, I completely disagree. Actually, I'll go as far as say the reason being is because I don't think that we're in an era of football where one team can't dominate for years and years, and I think that going to Real Madrid is purely down to he just wanted something new. He wanted something new. It was a new challenge for him because he was going to go try out something new as well. I think Bellingham probably helped in that as well, because they do get along very well at international level as well. So it probably did help with that. I personally do think Real Madrid, yes, they are a good side and historically are a much better side. But I do not think for a second that he's going to have a better career at Real Madrid than he would at Liverpool.
Do you not think it's a step up?
No.
Do you not?
No.
The reason go on.
The reason is because the career he's had at Liverpool is with his boyhood club. So that's one thing. I know this is from a personal standpoint, but it is him that's making the choice, not us. It's from it's that with his boyhood club, all that success he's done there. I don't think there was a ceiling at Liverpool, because he would have actually gone on to become a Liverpool legend probably if he stayed at the club. Going to Real Madrid now, I don't see oh my God, it is a step up, because I don't look at that Real Madrid side and think this is the best side in Europe. I don't think there is a standout side in Europe right now that is the team everyone wants to be at. I don't think there is now.
I get that, and I'm not saying they're the best team. I think they're the biggest club in the world.
Oh yeah, they are.
And as massive as Liverpool are, Real Madrid dwarf them. Do you know what I mean? And that goes into it. The money goes into it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, at the end of his career, it's got to be so hard to turn down the opportunity to say I played for Real Madrid, and I think that goes into it a lot.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. I think. Let me clarify the ceiling comment. There is absolutely a future where Trent Alexander-Arnold stayed and did great things at Liverpool, but it was put up or shut up time for the club. Of he wanted the captain's armband, he wanted to be the top guy. His agents wanted him to be the big brand guy, and I just don't think Liverpool saw him as that. And that's half the issue for me.
Do you think also, I know this sounds a bit silly to say, do you think it was his position as well in the field that probably, and possibly, how good he was defensively?
I'm very intrigued to see how Real Madrid use him, because I don't know if he'll be necessarily the right back.
No, he'll play like was it Frimpong was it play for him whatever, but well, by Leverkusen it'd be more of a wing back than he would be a actual right back. So
if that I can see him playing in the centre and mid as well. Yeah, I can see Real Madrid thinking about that and using him there more than Liverpool perhaps were willing to.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think it's because the emotions are still high with it, because obviously, it's his boyhood, kind of. He's one of, well, not me personally, but Scouse. He's a Scouser, so it's like it feels like a little bit more betrayal than it would be if it was just a guy we got from academy or something. We bought him and then he bought him and he went out. But I think for a lot of people it's just because of there was, I think, for silence for so long. And I get when you have contract negotiations, you're not opposed to when you talk about it, but it was just a lot of silence, and then kind of just in that way he announced it. It'd be different if, I think for me, while I look at it, it'd be different if he just went, okay, if he wanted to go, sit there, let's start the season, go, hey guys, announcement, I'm leaving. And then you've had a whole year to kind of go, get used to it, and also kind of go, okay. but it's because he'd done it we kind of all knew, and then he done it the way he did, and then obviously the idea that he's going on a free as well. I know we got 10 million for him. If Real Madrid put 100 million or 120 and then gone or so like that, and they sold him, like, yeah, but we still got the money. But I think that's what it is. It's like factors. I get what you're trying to say with the whole it probably would be good for him, but what's this thing about players don't want to win back to back trophies? But I get it. He's won everything. Why would you not want to win everything again?
No, I think they do. I just don't think Liverpool will be the team that are going to do that for 8 years in a row. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, they might. I could be wrong, but I just don't think the Premier League is set up for that.
Could be Keith Andrews at Brentford, for all we know.
I mean,
he could win a lot of championship title.
I mean, to be fair, Real Madrid don't really win a lot of the La Liga that often as well. To be fair, so. Sure. I mean, basically the whole dynasty's built on Champions Leagues. So if you don't win that, it's kind of
potentially. So. And I think the dynasty is convincing a lot, and maybe that's where my brain is. I will say I do agree about the way it's been handled. Trent has not handled it correctly. I think back to and we spoke about it a bit last week of when Grealish left Villa. Grealish could have gone so many different transfer windows in a row, but what he did is he signed a contract and then. He signed a brand new contract, and then 12 months later was sold for £100 million. And he signed that contract knowing full well that he put a clause in that if there's £100 million come in, he can go. So that was the idea, clearly, when he signed the contract, that he would leave for £100 million. Now, this is where I think Trent hasn't helped himself over the last 3 to 4 years, because if he was thinking that there's a chance he leaves, to me, he could have protected his boyhood club a bit more. I agree with that. Yeah, I think he could have. Yeah. I will say he's not entitled. He's not expected to. It's not his responsibility either. It's the club's responsibility to protect themselves. But he could have done if the loyalty was there. Yes, he could have done.
Yeah. I think that is a very fair point, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think the death threats were necessarily needed, but Liverpool be Liverpool. I'll probably get some myself just from the podcast now. So
my favourite one to this day by far was the corner routine.
Oh, and they replaced it with
from that and they replaced it with Robertson.
I mean, that's just
always
fun.
My favourite.
That's just funny. I mean, I have to admit one thing that was quite funny with it is the situation. I think he slipped up in his press conference because I think he sat there and said, "I've been waiting a long time for this," and everyone's like, "Wait." Oh no, I mean, it's like I've been waiting a few weeks. It's like, oh, Trent, has the mask slipped? Do you mean you've been waiting a year, maybe 2, maybe? but it's fine. Yeah. I mean, all side, it's fine. I mean, it's not like Liverpool are standing still. I mean, obviously we're doing big business, so it's like when the season starts, I think we'll forget at where we go and we'll just move on.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the business they are doing in terms of let's just speak about Andy Robertson a minute, because it's on our list from what Matt Thorney sent us, because he thought about we wanted to speak about it. So I think it's a good thing to talk about. Is it time for Robertson to be leaving? Maybe not necessarily this summer, next summer, soon. The main point is, should Andy Robertson be starting left back for Liverpool in the next year? For me, the answer is no, but I'll let Stu go.
Go on.
Well, I get it, because obviously this season, obviously with all the success we've had, yes, he's looked a bit off it. There are 1 or 2 games we've seen where he's been a bit off the pace, or he's been a bit exposed, because obviously, and that. But I don't think selling him now would do, because obviously we've got a new left back coming in, and obviously wouldn't it look better if you got a young left back coming in, trying to learn how to play at Liverpool, and then obviously had a person that's done it or been there as the backup and kind of rotation. The problem with Robertson is we played him, like I said, it's getting to that point where we play him too much. So like if you had someone like that, you can rotate him so you can get the best out of him. I think maybe next summer possibly. Like I wouldn't be against the idea of like maybe going, you can sell him then. But again, I think it's another one of the situation, never one season, like, let him be the back, like maybe not play every week. Kind of, play as a good backup. Let's go over games, and then because obviously he's a great character in the dressing room. If you've seen any of his videos online, he's got to be the most funniest guy I've ever seen when it comes to great atmosphere. So like keeping him at the club's always going to be a good thing. So I wouldn't personally, but
I I agree. I think he's a very good squad player for the next 12 months. But it is key to me that he needs to be a squad player because there's talk about Kirkhead's at Bournemouth coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And if he comes in, he needs to be the starting left back for
I will be.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
And for them to progress as a club, for the players to progress, for this new era, this new dynasty, whatever you want to call it. Robertson's been an amazing left back for Liverpool, one of the best they've ever had. That has to be said.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple in the 80s that rival him at best, but modern Liverpool is probably the best. Premier League era is probably the best. I mean, cult hero John Arisa didn't do anything near what Andy Robertson's done, that's for sure. But yeah, you got to think he's 31 years of age. Andy Robertson's game is quick into a tackle, quick down the wing, getting up and down a lot. And obviously, look, his technical ability, his crossing will never disappear, but he's not going to be in the same positions anymore. He's going to get caught out a lot more, which we saw in the last year, and that is just age catching up with him. He's not as quick as he was. He hasn't got the same reactions he was. He's not as strong as he was, and that's a natural thing. But his mentals, he's a winner now. He's done everything with Liverpool. He's won everything twice, basically. Well, so look, he's definitely one to keep. But it's going to be a new look Liverpool in the next 12 months. It's going to be Arne Slot's Liverpool for the first time, really, which is quite exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's what kind of worked for it, to be fair, because obviously he kind of took what Klopp did and just kind of tweaked it. But this is the first kind of, inroads of kind of what kind of Slot wants. I've got to be honest. With obviously who he's trying to buy. I mean, the way it's looking, it's going to be if you obviously Frimpong on that right, and obviously Kerker's on that left, like it's going to be the most one of the most attacking kind of sides. Like don't be surprised if it's going to be just goals if it all goes the way you hope it goes. But yeah, it's been a while in a transfer window that I've been like really excited. Really like, yes, we're actually making inroads in players.
I'm actually going to throw it out there as well. I think we're going to see a slight change in the way Liverpool play next year, even though they've been so successful this year. Because I think I've got no information, I'll say that much, but I think Núñez goes this summer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think they do not sign a striker at Liverpool. I think Mo Salah plays in the central role. And I think there's a change of formation and it's focused on attacking fullbacks being the width rather than Mo Salah and Luis Diaz, who's also on his way out by the sounds of it.
I do agree with I don't think they'll sign a striker, but I actually think that Wirtz will be used in a higher value, so he'll be used in that striker role. But instead of being the guy that they send the ball to, what he'll do is Mo Salah and say Gakpo will come in from the flanks, and he'll drop back and
it's
like similar to the ball to him like that. That's
Roberto
what
Firmino.
Similar. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it's going to be very fluid. It's going to be very fluid.
I was looking up some of his stats, and he is like my goals. This guy, I genuinely think he could be. I never thought I'd actually say this. He could probably be as an exciting signing for Liverpool as Man United were for Wayne Rooney.
Wow,
that is. I'd actually go. I'd actually go higher than that. I actually think this is. What's a good.
De Bruyne to Man City.
De Bruyne to City is a very good comparison. And I think he will go on to have the type of career that De Bruyne had. I genuinely think if all goes well for him, and you've got to remember he has had some injuries in his career. He tore his anterior cruciate ligament at 19 or whatever it was, which is a big injury, but he has come back. Yes. Yeah. I think if he plays to what people hope he will be in a Liverpool team that is successful for the next 4 years or so, which they have all the makings of, he will go in 3 years. He will be the best player in the Premier League, probably the best player in the world, up there with some of these others that are playing for the PSG and whatever else. He will be up there. He has the capability of being that good. And I should say, I mean, he can't do it with the Premier League, but I love the fact that he is the player in the Bundesliga who recreated the logo. I don't know if you guys have seen this,
Oh, okay.
right? Look it up. There's a frame from one of the matches he played, and he's recreating the Bundesliga logo of someone stretching out for a ball, and it's
Okay.
superb. How like the whole thing is to a T,
Yeah.
apart from maybe his arm a little bit, but yeah,
Mm.
I think it's the most exciting signing of the summer. I think it's probably the most exciting signing of the last 2-3 years in the Premier League, to be
Yeah.
honest.
No, I
So
think that as well, if there's one thing you'd point out about his game that is probably his weak point is his strength. And I do think that obviously coming up against defenders in the Premier League who are going to be a bit more robust and shove him off the ball a bit easier, that is going to take a little bit of getting used to. But a player that did have to get used to it, another one, is Eden Hazard. When he first came in, he wasn't a success from the get-go, but the strength did develop, and then he was devastating then.
I
Like,
would
so,
hope,
yeah.
I would hope, and I would imagine most Liverpool fans are hoping this, that Wirtz does a lot more in the Premier League than Hazard did, who had an amazing few years and was
Yeah.
one of the world beaters for a few years and then fell off a cliff. So hopefully Wirtz doesn't quite do that. I know,
Yeah.
look at his face. I mean, let's be fair, Hazard. I mean, even now he could be playing now, but he's not.
Now he's retired, isn't
Right,
it?
But
34 years of age. He went to
he
Real Madrid and fell off a cliff.
his
Cool.
reason for falling off a cliff was because of his training methods. He didn't train that much. He was like, "Give me the ball in the
Yeah,
match, and I'll do
remember
the
seeing that.
talking then." And he was very good at that. And he done it for Chelsea throughout his entire time there. So I will never hate him for that.
No,
But Real Madrid is a
absolutely.
different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
It was never going to work. And also he got older, so he's obviously the
No,
ligaments aren't going to be as
no,
good. So
no,
nothing was in
no,
his favour in the end.
no. You can't say older. He moved to Real Madrid when he was 28, 27, something like that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
still got
but I mean,
two,
like
3 years in
my
golden for you.
ligaments hurt, and they've been hurting since I've been 28. So surely that's I don't train.
So what we're saying is, if Florian Wirtz is a professional and trains exactly how modern footballers should do, if to be the best, he could be the best, which is what would be
Yes.
brilliant for Liverpool. Liverpool have spent a lot of money quickly. We'll just talk about that. A lot of people talk about City spending a lot of money. Liverpool spent a lot of money this summer. I don't hate it. You know what? It's rare that Liverpool spend a lot of money. It's
the first time we've gone over 100 million. I think like for a player. I mean,
Yeah.
just to point out,
Yeah.
because I was looking at it, because obviously everyone with comparison, like, oh, you got Nunes for like, was it 89? I think it was, or something like that. It's like, but yeah, I mean, first time we've gone over 100 for a player, so we must be really confident that this guy's going to produce for us.
And to be fair, all that Liverpool have spent so far in this summer is what Todd Bowley finds in his back pocket to spend on, I don't know, a random 19-year-old from any other country. So it's fine. It's fine. It's pretty normal. Right. What's next?
Sorry. What? Hello.
Shall we speak about Leeds?
Ooh.
It's going to be an interesting season for them. It's going to be a real interesting season for them. I think they've just signed a new player, haven't they? So
they've signed Lucas Nemecha, which was a name that a lot of people might recognise. Played for. Well, he came through the academy at City, made his Premier League debut under Pep. He had loan spells at Preston, Middlesbrough, and Anderlecht before joining Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. He's been there 4 years, 19 goals in 85 appearances there. Free transfer. It's an odd deal. It's an okay deal. Free transfer, right? Do you know what I mean? I get that, but I wouldn't say it's a transfer that says, yeah, this is the guy that's going to keep you in the Premier League next year.
I mean, it's numbers. The goals is going to be a problem for Leeds, isn't it? Because I know you could sit there and say in all promoted sides, but I think it was like, I don't know how many goals they got when Leeds went down last time, but obviously struggling to. And I don't think the last two promoted sides have done well when it's scoring goals. I don't think they've got good figures, so it's a problem. And obviously, you got Thomas. You got was it you've got a situation with the manager that's obviously he's had two bites at the cherry when it comes to Premier League football, and he's finished bottom and got very with Norwich and got a lot of
Well, I mean, there's a lot of talk that Leeds are happy to replace him this summer and let someone have a go at the Premier League, which is
I remember hearing about
bonkers.
that. Yeah, because they were talking the same. They were talking the same. Was it with Scott Parker? Wasn't it the same thing? Because he's got the same. He's kind of got the same issue where it's like he can do it in the Championship, but when it comes to the Premier League, his record's not great either. But I mean, I got to be honest. Out of 3 teams that have gone up this with the Premier, it's gone up. I think if I was going to put money on anything, I would like to see. I'd probably see Leeds would probably be that. Would be the one, but because obviously
I don't know if I'd put money on it, but I'd like Leeds to stay up. Actually, I think Leeds in the Premier League. The Premier League's better for Leeds being in it, but I look at the squad and they need some real quality coming in this summer to stand any real chance. Their best goal scorer at the minute is Patrick Bamford, and that's not good enough to keep you in the Premier League at this stage.
But he hasn't been on form for a while, hasn't he?
He hasn't. He hasn't. No. But he was still there, sort of top. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Mateo Joseph, a Spanish player who's currently playing for the under-23s, under-21s at the Euros, but he scored 3 goals in the Championship last season. So they need some real recruitment. Burnley, I think, are going to have a similar issue. I really wouldn't be surprised if we see 3 up, 3 down again this year.
I think because I have to admit, Sunderland, I do worry because obviously we talk about obviously Southampton and obviously how that ended not very well.
They've also let go of Jude Bellingham as well, haven't they? Jude.
Joe Bell. Well, to be honest, it's actually very interesting to see how they invest that now, Sunderland, because they've got the money from Bellingham sale. So again, they're ones to watch, these 3 teams. There is certainly players out there that will improve them, and they're available. And it's look, they'll have agents knocking on the door every day. Come and sign this guy. He's done it in the Premier League. He's been there. He'll keep you up. He'll score the goals. They have to be picky. They have to pick the right one. Not every relegation battle team does that. So be one to watch Leeds, Burnley, and Sunderland. But I do think it's great that Leeds and Sunderland are back in the Premier League, by the way. I don't think we spoke about this before, but
especially Sunderland,
2 proper Premier League teams to me. Do you know what I mean?
When you think of Sunderland, who's a player you think of from the Premier League era? Who's a player you think of? For me, Seb Larsson. Larsson. He's free kick.
I can see Seb Larsson. I'll actually go back further than that.
Go on.
Kevin Phillips.
Yeah.
Yes.
30 goals is one of the only players to get 30 goal season, I think it was.
Darren Bent.
He won the Golden Shoe, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he did. Yeah.
Niall Quinn.
Niall Quinn.
Niall Quinn. Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe.
Newcastle.
Fabio Barini.
Yes. Absolute legend.
It's just as bad as, was it? Do you remember Bapatimi Gomes for Swansea?
Yeah. Although he scored at Stamford Bridge though, so he enjoyed playing there.
Yeah.
But so that'd be interesting to see. Was there something else we were going to talk about before we got on to the Knighthoods? I can't remember.
I feel like
if there was
taking the mic. I feel like he's taking the mic. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting.
Actually,
I feel like you're taking the mic.
I'm now looking to see if I can find something to take the mic with. So I don't think I can.
Oh God. No,
but yeah, let's talk about Sir David Beckham.
Yeah.
About time, right?
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, he's done so much for the game, hasn't he? But it's ridiculous. So,
do you guys think? I'm not going to say the word best because I think best is very controversial. I'm not sure I believe best. But do you think he is the biggest English footballer to have ever been?
Do you mean by was it
fame, what he's done for the game, etc., etc.?
100%.
He's the most. I mean, he when you think of household English footballers, like Beckham's on your like your Mount Rushmore type of thing is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, like who's on your Mount Rushmore? Okay.
I mean, we all forget how good Beckham is, to be fair. Because obviously, I think so. We think of the fame, we think of all the kind of like was it obviously? I think he owns like one with like was it an M&S club and all that stuff, and he's got all this like kind of big business and fame and all that. But you forget he was one hell of a good footballer, like as well.
He was.
I mean, like basically give him the ball, cross it in, like it ping. It's like I mean, we all. So
he
good.
was of his day. He was like, I think for young fans now, he was Trent Alexander-Arnold with how good his ball was.
Oh yeah,
that is like if you would pick anyone just off the top of your head, like his ball actually with a cross was like Trent.
I understand your point, but I do feel offended at this idea that for younger players, Trent Alexander-Arnold for Beckham.
I'm not saying that Trent is anywhere near that level. Beckham was 10 times better. I just thrown that out there. I know I come out with first outlandish comments, but that is not what I'm saying here.
That's exactly what he's saying, everyone. That's exactly what he's saying.
I mean, I'll throw out there that I think around 2002 to maybe 2004. No, sorry, 2001 to 2003. He was the best English player by country mile at that point. Best player in England, English player, best player in the England team. Let's clarify because Thierry Henry was still there. It's more than that. For me, it's what he's done in the game that I think goes unnoticed. When you consider he won the Premier League 6 times at United, right? That's a lot of Premier League title before you even think about it. He won the Champions League in '99 and was obviously a major part of that comeback in the final. Won the FA Cup twice. Then when he moved to Real Madrid, in perhaps one of the biggest football stories there's ever been in football journalism, if that makes sense. I mean, I've spoken to people who have worked on that sort of story and worked on that particular story, and they still talk about where they were when they first heard it was happening. Do you know what I mean? It was a huge moment for English football. Went to Real Madrid, played 4 seasons there, only won the league title once, but I think more than that, what he did is became a global superstar at Real Madrid more than ever. And then more than obviously he had his spells at AC Milan, he had his spell at PSG, but what he's done for the MLS and it's incredible. I mean, not just to join in 2007, still arguably in his prime, or maybe at the back end at best. But I mean, when you consider he joined Real Madrid in 2003, he only spent 4 years at Madrid and then went to MLS. So he was still a top player. And did
his contract expire, or did he go there?
I
think his contract expired.
I don't remember it being a fee or anything. So obviously it was just it was kind of I remember he left Real Madrid after winning the La Liga, and then it was a situation like where is he going to go? And obviously everyone picked big names, and obviously everyone's at LA Galaxy, and I'm guessing everyone's like, who?
Exactly. like I was in Tenerife at the time, and I remember all over the newspapers when I was over there, obviously about Beckham moving to Galaxy, and I was like, what? Like, why is he going there?
And also the situation of we obviously not a lot of I don't personally watch it, but like the MLS, it put eyes on on because obviously before that everyone was not. I think it started the whole thing. Like example, if David Beckham didn't go to was LA Galaxy, someone like Thierry and we wouldn't have gone. You know what? Yeah, I would have. I thought I'll go to America. It's like he started this trend of players going. Yeah, I'll go to America maybe tail end of my career just because So you could sit there and say, if it wasn't for Beckham, would the MLS be? Would we get? Is that Messi? Would Messi think on?
If Beckham didn't go to LA Galaxy, the MLS would be a shell of a league, and we'd be talking about it like it's the I don't know the at best the Dutch league at best, right? But do you know what I mean in terms of eyes and how serious they take it and all of that sort of stuff, because they do now, it should be said, and there are a couple of there are a couple of teams in that MLS that you'd put in the Premier League and you'd go mid-table, lower half table, but they'd challenge, they'd compete more than you can say for some other leagues, is what I'd say. But yeah, I mean, what he's done and further than that, to take into Miami now, and be the driving force behind creating Inter Miami. That wouldn't be a thing without David Beckham. Lionel Messi wouldn't have played in America without David Beckham.
Luis
Suarez. I mean, look, MLS fans might hate me for this because I know they have their own history and all this sort of stuff. But in the next 5 years, there's a very good chance that Inter Miami go down as the biggest MLS team, the top dogs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
and
that's down to Beckham. That he's made them a household name across world football. With the work he's done. And then you look, and this is what comes back to his knighthood, right? What he did for England during that spell, during that sort of, what was it, 15-year spell nearly, at the top. Obviously, he was captain for 6 years, but I mean, he appeared at 3 World Cups, 2 European Championships. He was the longest, the highest appearance record until 2016 when someone took it. I can't remember who took it. That's going to bug me.
Rooney?
Might have been Rooney.
It's Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney, yeah.
But I mean,
I know Harry Kane's equalled Lampard's record now with 105. So
yeah,
I know that. Yeah.
But the penalty against Argentina, the free kick against Greece, the free kick at the 2006 World Cup against Ecuador in a knockout game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just on those 3 moments alone, and what else, and the other things he did for the England team, apart from Bobby Moore because he won the World Cup, I think David Beckham's the second best England captain that's ever been. In my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think I might be saying that because he was my captain as a kid. Yeah, he's England captain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that could be part of it. But in terms of respect from the dressing room, he was a legend by the time 2002 World Cup. He was a legend of English football by that point.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
which is crazy at that age.
When you think back to '98 when he had that incident against Argentina, and then he was like, the main man for us. It's like insane to think.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the idea you said 2002 World Cup, the idea that obviously he scored the free kick that got us there. Like, because obviously we were on the like, I don't know how. I think the qualification was different back then, but like we're on the verge. Like it was like if it wasn't for that, like if we didn't get that goal against Greece, we wouldn't be talking about any World Cup in 2002. So I think that's why it's more, it's just I think that just people forget. It's just, he's done so much for England when it comes to, with that kind of stuff. But I think by far he's going to go down for that Greece free kick. Like if it's any one moment, it's going to be defined by. It's going to be that moment because I think so.
Yeah.
I think
for England probably maybe the penalty against Argentina, the whole redemption thing. But I do genuinely think, but I do genuinely think he will be remembered more for what he's done for the game more than what he actually did on the pitch at this stage, which is amazing. American football, American soccer as they call it, just for anyone who's confused, would not be anywhere near a sport like it is now, let's say, without David Beckham. So it's crazy that it took till 2025 for David Beckham to have a knighthood, by the way. That is
but well done to him, well done, he's deserved it, and kudos to him. Now get one for was it Luis Suarez? Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you what though, right? In the year 2002, Beckham scores the free kick against Greece. Imagine telling someone that Gareth Southgate will be knighted before David Beckham.
Oh, yeah,
but
that's bonkers, really. But it happened.
Yeah, but the funny thing about knighthoods is it's like there are more other factors around it other than just like kind of achievements. There is other things that obviously we don't want to get into, but that's probably why it's taken so long, because there are certain issues that about it. But
one that gets me more than anything else is that Luke Littler has been given something as well with an MBE, and I'm like, you're not even 20. Not even 20. Like,
He's not even 18, is he? Like he's a world
No.
champion of darts, and he's like
not even legal to drink. To have a drink. Yeah,
He's
at
making
the
his-
pub while he's throwing darts. And now he's like,
Yeah, he's not allowed
Oh.
to. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah,
either way, he's
I mean,
completed life already. And he's doing
Yeah,
something like
We'll save this for the spin-off Arcade Darts podcast
it.
coming soon. But let us know down below in the comments on YouTube if there's anybody in English football who hasn't got a knighthood right now that you think should, because there are probably a few. I mean, if we're talking Beckham, Rooney probably isn't far behind with what he's done for the England national team. Potentially, I'm just saying potentially. And then you look further back, you got managers, etc., who didn't. But we'll see what happens. Let us know down below. Sir Harry Kane one day.
Gary Lineker.
Oof.
oh, he's give it a couple of years on that one.
Yeah. I think the government might just hold off on that one for a little while. But yeah, I'm not sure the BBC will report that one either. Anyway, right, let's end it there, shall we? We should be back next week. We'll try and talk about the Club World Cup and how Chelsea have been knocked out by LAFC. Chelsea might win this year, just to ruin my summer.
Matt's not loving that comment.
I feel like after we wound up Stu saying that Grealish has had a better career than Gerrard. Oh, there's the phase.
I couldn't put my. I was trying to go through that because I was going to put. I couldn't put myself to post that. I was just going through it. And it's like, what are you guys talking about? Unbelievable, but yeah, I'm too traumatized by that conversation already. To be honest, bring it up brings back bad memories. That's how bad it was.
Oh, right.
Not saying the word. But yeah, we'll be back next week, and we'll also. Soon enough, by the way, because I'm these guys don't know this, but we are absolutely going to be talking about the Women's European Championships over the summer, because that is a huge story. So yeah, I'm just looking through stories, you see, so that's on my brain. We'll be back next week. Say goodbye, everybody.
See you later, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Right. Yeah.
And by the way, Steven Gerrard, Jack Grealish did have a more successful career. Peace.
Oh,